Good day, Minecraftians. Purple Mentat here, bringing you episode 13 of my Agrarian Skies Hardcore Quest Let's Play. This game pack by Jadedcat is available on the Feed the Beast launcher. Today, I'm going to be progressing the quest line and also finishing up a bit of a makeover that I started on this machine room over here. Show you what's upstairs. Whole lot going on. We'll go over all of it as time goes on. First things first, I want to get the For the Hoarding quests going. And to start those, well, I started with the barrels. I'm going to need to make a deep storage unit. The deep storage unit requires a whole new item that you haven't seen made before, and that is the filled tesseract frame, which requires me to put a full bucket worth of resonant ender into an empty tesseract frame, which is made with that Enderium we saw last time, hardened glass, and diamond. I've got some hardened glass cooking up in an induction smelter over here. And more pulverized obsidian coming in, because I'm going to need quite a bit of this stuff to finish this this one item. In this particular magma crucible, fluid transposer, and cyclic assembler setup, the magma crucible is outputting to the top and to the left. Fluid transposer is filling with resonant ender, and so is the cyclic assembler. And this assembler is set to make me Enderium blend. So as I melt down ender pearls, it happily fills up both, and I get more Enderium blend waiting for me, so that I can make more Enderium in my, well, I need to set up the induction smelter for that yet. Kind of joined a work in progress here because I wanted you guys to see everything as I was going. Now, last time I was running into some FPS lag that was coming mainly from items moving through item ducts. Those clear item ducts look very nice, and normally my system can handle them, but apparently when I'm recording, it puts enough extra strain on the system that I need to be using the covered ones. So I've torn them all down, and I've switched them all over to covered item ducts, using up a whole bunch more lead, but luckily I've got basically infinite lead income. Also did the same with the fluid ducts, and I figured while I was at it, I would upgrade these item ducts to a better tier. And to do that, I'm going to need glowstone. So I'm going to grab 2 stacks of that. So I think it'll take about that much. Either way, I want to get this set up. This is another magma crucible and fluid transposer over here. I'm going to turn this glowstone into blocks. And I can toss glowstone into a magma crucible. And this one again, set to input from the bottom, output to the top. That input from the bottom is going to come important later in the episode. Glowstone cooks down into energized glowstone. And when I put an item duct in with energized glowstone, it takes 200 of it and turns it into an impulse item duct. As it says, the impulse item duct transfer items quickly, whereas this just transfers items, and it moves very quickly. I'm not going to have any uncovered for you to see, but it's a very significant speed increase. So those 32 glowstone are going to turn into 32,000 millibuckets. It takes 200 millibuckets a piece for these. So it's going to more than be able to fill everything up. Which is great. I'm going to have a whole bunch of impulse item ducts to work with now. Going to be very, very helpful in the time to come. So let's grab more of the rest of that hardened glass. And we're going to come over to our crafting interface. Oh, one more thing. Speaking of FPS lag, the Applied Energistics Emmie basic cable also can produce some lag because it flashes when things move. So if you're on a lower end system or you're putting a lot of stress on things by recording or say watching Netflix on a second monitor or something like that, changing them over into colored cables using a wool cable is a really good idea. I had to farm a lot of string out of my trees to do that, and I'm really looking forward to getting a better wool farm setup. Also, you'll note that I changed out the ceiling in here into more white stone. I needed more sugar to be able to make the white stone, so I set myself up a little sugarcane farm on the side here. All basic stuff. Didn't think that you guys needed to see that on camera. Alright, so our tesseract frame. To make the empty tesseract frame, we need Enderium, hardened glass, diamond. I believe we have everything we need because I've got the hardened glass right here. And as long as I'm at it, I am really short on inventory. That's okay. I can put these Enderium ingots in there. I'm going to need a handful of strong boxes. Specifically, I need the reinforced strong boxes because, as you can see, it takes 4 of these to make 4 deep storage units. Now, the deep storage unit is a very expensive block, but you get 4 of them for the crafting recipe. What could be worth that much expense? Well, you'll see. So, to make the reinforced strongbox, I need hardened strongboxes, which I can craft with Invar around a strongbox, or tin and Invar around a chest. And that's the path I'm... Ooh, I don't have any chests in there. Let me fix that. There we go. And that'll make me 4 hardened strongboxes, which I can then immediately toss right back in there, so that I can make the reinforced strongbox. And I'm going to need 4 of these. There we are. And I'm just going to get those set up in advance. In fact, I think that I can even set up everything except the last bit. Oh, I'm short on plastic. No problem. I've got my plastic farm over here. Grab myself some raw plastic. It's been running for a while, doing pretty well. And I'll make myself a couple of stacks of plastic sheets. It's nice having things just automated like this. The resources pour in, and there's nothing that I need to do about it. I haven't changed these over for the item ducts yet because I wanted to get impulse item ducts ready to put in their place, and I wanted to do that on camera. I have replaced a couple of other places with impulse item ducts already. This guy's still cooking down, and look at that. I've got a whole bunch of impulse item ducts, and I'm going to have an excess of glowstone waiting for me. So anytime I want to cook up more impulse item ducts, or say I want to make these... it's not working for me from here. Hang on just a second. I can show you what the energized glowstone is used for. There we go. You can make florbs, which are kind of like water bombs, so be careful with those. You can put any liquid into magmatic florbs, and that can get really dangerous. You can make the impulse item ducts, and you can make these illuminators, which are just a really, really pretty replacement for regular glowstone. It's a light, it's a lamp, it has the same light value as glowstone. I just think that they look really nice. They're also a key ingredient to the laser drill and laser drill precharger, which we're going to get to later. Alright, so I've got 6,000 resonant ender in my fluid transposer, more than enough to toss my tesseract frame in there, and that'll get started working. Take just a few minutes to cook down. While it's doing that, I will grab more of this pulverized obsidian. Got 24 enderium. Toss it in here, cook up more hardened glass. Almost done. And it outputs to this chest. 1 tesseract frame full. Now I could use that tesseract frame to make the B-space upgrade for Java, which can be used to link 2 barrels together, but it takes up 2 slots. I could also make the deep storage unit, which is our goal, or the tesseract from thermal expansion using some bronze and some silver. And that is, as I said last time, the item duct. Well, no, not the item duct. The item teleport pipe, power teleport pipe, and liquid teleport pipe replacement. If you are a fan of older style of buildcraft, you'll know what those items are. If not, you'll see them later because I'll definitely be using them at some point. So I'm going to stick that tesseract frame in there, and I'm going to stop derping around with the inventory, I swear, someday. And now I've got my deep storage unit. Now, deep storage units, for one, that completes this quest, which was, you know, the entire goal. But the other cool thing about them, if you right-click on your deep storage unit, you'll see that it's an inventory, which doesn't seem that exciting. You can pick it back up with your pickaxe, or I believe you can shift right-click it with your wrench. Yes, you can. And, at that point it no longer stacks quite right with the other deep storage unit. So you need to break it with the pickaxe if you want them to stack. But I think it also retains its settings if you pick it up with the pickaxe. I mean with the wrench. So what's a deep storage unit do? Well, I'm going to grab a bunch of this cobblestone and I'm going to show you. It is a storage unit, and it just stores lots and lots and lots of items. I believe it can store something like 2 million or 2 billion of a single item. Let me check that out for you real quick. I'll be right back. Yep, just double checked. It can store 2 billion of a single item or block, which is why it's going to take the place of this cobble barrel right here. That's right, deep storage units are 100% compatible with applied energistic storage buses. So I will be able to store up 2 billion cobblestone, which is fantastic because I'm going to need almost that much cobblestone to complete this map. So I'm going to grab my dolly, I'm going to grab you out of the way, put you down here. Now, if I break the deep storage unit with the pickaxe, absolutely nothing happens. Oh, it hangs on to everything, whether I break it with the pickaxe or with the wrench. That's fantastic. So I'm going to toss that there. And now, just to make extra sure that everything's working properly, deep storage unit is currently showing 704 stored in there. I'm going to grab a couple stacks of cobble, run over to my terminal. Should really stick a terminal in the storage hall. Drop a couple cobblestone in there. And when I come back, it should show 832. 832 stored. Fantastic. So now I'm just going to empty out this barrel, which will probably cause a bit of lag in the end because there's, you know, quite a few stacks of cobble. And this will take just a moment for me to store it all. And there we go. We've got 13,443 cobblestone into the deep storage unit now. This guy's empty. We can pick him up. All of the upgrades that were stuffed into him come flying out, which are now going to get stored into there. And 4 storage upgrades, Mark II, Mark III, and Mark I. Have myself a bit of a snack as I head back over here. And I get ready for the next quest, which will open up the possibilities that I've been looking for. So, claim my reward. I'm going to take the left-hand bag. I get a full heart, which makes 11 points, and a good reward bag, which contained another wooden sword with Silk Touch X. I'm going to go toss that into the quest rewards. So now I've got 3 of those Silk Touch wooden swords. Fantastic. The next step quest along the line is digital storage. I've already made the Emmie drive, Emmie controller, and Emmie crafting terminal. Thankfully it remembers all that. Now I need to make an Emmie 1K storage, an Emmie precision export bus, and an Emmie precision import bus. The export bus and import bus are used for moving items into and out of the network, and we're going to be making a lot of use of them today to put our ore processing back together and start generating more metals even faster. So, first things first, I need the 1K storage. To make the 1K storage, I need to make myself a storage cell, which is made with an advanced processor, Certus Quartz Redstone. We've seen this before. 1K. There we go. 1K storage cell. And I suppose I'll toss that into the drive because why not? I've got the space. Now, I need... can I type it up here? Would that be easier? That would be easier. Alright, so I need precision import bus and precision export bus. To make the precision buses, I need to combine a basic processor with the basic export and import bus. The basic export and import bus are made with iron, Emmie cable, and either a piston for the export bus or a sticky piston for the import bus. Also, an Emmie interface. And I'm going to need a lot of these Emmie interfaces, so I'm going to make up, let's say 10 or 20 right now. Oh, but wait, I'm out of materials for them. No problem. So, finally, precision, import, and export bus. All I need now is the pistons, which I don't think I have a whole lot of available, so I'm just going to make up some. So here's our precision import bus, created with a piston and an Emmie interface. And then here's our precision export bus. Well, these are just the regular versions. That's the import, this is the export. I already have the basic import, here's the basic export. And now to turn those into precision, it's simply a case of combining them with a processor, which I have plenty left over. There's 1 precision import bus, 1 precision export bus, and 1 quest complete. And I get 2 full hearts out of this one, and the reward bag. 13 points. Let me deposit a bunch of this stuff. Open up that reward bag. Let's see what random goodies we get this time. This is a greater reward bag, and we got a cake named Lie. I'm not even surprised. I wish I was. Oh, hey, look at that. $14 points. Love that little ding. Okay, now we've opened up the bulk of the For the Hoarding quests, and now I can show you exactly why I've kept talking about cobblestone, because I need to complete the Cobblegen Madness quest one octuple compressed cobblestone. And that doesn't seem so bad. I mean, it's just one block, right? How horrible can it be? Well, if I look up octuple compressed cobblestone, we see that it's made from septuple compressed cobblestone, which is made from sextuple compressed cobblestone, which is made from quintuple compressed cobblestone, which is made from quadruple compressed cobblestone, which is made from triple compressed cobblestone, which is made from double compressed cobblestone. Yeah. So that's 43,046,721 cobblestone. I'm going to need to get those igneous extruders set up, and I don't think 4 of them is going to quite cut it. So, moving forward, how are we going to get this running again? Well, first things first, let me gather a bunch of import buses and export buses and interfaces and get it everything I need to finish this build and get this sucker running again. And then I'll come back and I'll explain how all of those items are going to work with the Emmie system. Alright, I've got myself 8 Emmie interfaces, 10 basic import buses, and 10 basic export buses. And I'm going to show you how those are going to help me. We'll start with the basic export bus on this magma crucible. So if I put you, point there and right click there, it will point at the magma crucible, which I have set to import from the bottom, or to accept items from the bottom. If I then right click on this, I can tell him to export ender pearls. And it will export 1 ender pearl every 5 seconds into that magma crucible. So if I come over here and put this stack of ender pearls into my AE system, and I come back over here, I can see you're already working because it's slowly getting filled up. I'm sorry, 1 ender pearl every 5 ticks, so 4 per second will go into the magma crucible. Now I'm going to do the same thing for this magma crucible with glowstone. Let me just go get myself a glowstone dust. I'm also going to need a redstone dust, so I'll just look for dust. Oh, except it doesn't work that easy. And this is going to clean me out of glowstone, but I'll be getting plenty more in the near future when I set everything back up. So I'm going to set up an Emmie basic export right there, and I'm going to configure it to accept glowstone dust. And this guy is now receiving 1 glowstone dust every quarter of a second. And I'm going to set up an Emmie basic export bus right here with redstone. I'm going to put my magma crucible on top of that by holding shift and right clicking, and it's inputting. And I'm going to have you export out the top into this fluid transposer. So now I will always have the thermal expansion fluids, the destabilized redstone, the resonant ender, and the energized glowstone ready for me. Now the the resonant ender can both be used in the cyclic assembler and the fluid transposer. The destabilized redstone and energized glowstone can only be used in fluid transposer recipes. So I now have the ability to make anything in thermal expansion relatively easily. Not super simple, but simpler than it was. Now, coming upstairs, this is where it's going to get tricky. And I'm going to need to get my lava, furnace, accumulator. There's my igneous extruders. Alright, these are all set. So, I want to set this whole thing back up the way it was before, except better. And to do that, I'm going to be using these Emmie interfaces. Now, the way an Emmie interface works, when placed in the world, it can be configured to export or import items. It can be set into crafting mode. There's a whole lot of things it can do. What it's going to be doing for me in this circumstance is simply accepting items. So, for example, if I were to put some cobblestone into here, it would be ground up, made into gravel, and it will output out the bottom into the Emmie interface, which is exactly where I want it to go because it will then enter the applied energistics network. And I'm going to be using these Emmie basic export buses to set exactly what is going into each of these pulverizers. So let me go get those materials actually. So we're going to go back upstairs. I'm going to set these two to export cobblestone. Actually, I'm going to set these 3 to export cobblestone. And I'm holding shift and right clicking to make them face the block face that I'm right clicking on. And these are now happily producing cobblestone. If I turn off the output, you'll see turning cobblestone into gravel. And that gravel is getting put into the applied energistics network. If I run across the bridge here and take a look at my barrels, we can see the gravel barrel will slowly be filling up. See? It's ticking in relatively quickly. Fast enough. Oh, and I'm getting a little bit of excess sand, too. Fantastic. I need one of those. So now I'm going to come back over here, and I'm going to set the bottom three. Two of them will be set to gravel, and one of them will be set to dust. I mean, to sand. Just like before, except now it's all getting put in and taken out by computers, because fancy. It's fun. And, oh, no, you can't actually set the, oh, what's the word I'm looking for? The priority on the export buses. However, they move so quickly that they should fill up without much trouble. And now I will be eternally producing 3 gravel, 2 sand, and 1 dust, plus a little bit extra on the sides, every time that a pulverizer can process. So I'm going to need to be producing more cobblestone to keep up with all that, which is why I brought my igneous extruders up here, because they're going to be applied to the sides of these Emmie interfaces, and they're going to be set to output that one on the left and these 3 on the back. I'm going to set down my portable tank of water, and I'm going to grab my 4 buckets, which all have lava pre-prepared in them. Lava. Oops, which one did you go into? You went into that one. I still need to hit that one. Lava. And 4 buckets of water. And these 4 igneous extruders will happily crank away forever. And because I've got a 2 billion cobblestone storage over there also attached to my applied energistics system, I'm in no danger of flooding the system with cobblestone no matter how long they run for. Fantastic. I need to start running these things through, these out products through the sieve. To do so, I'm going to come over here to where I'm setting up some autonomous activators. Now you'll notice that this is a, whoops, I needed that. Come back. This is a more complicated setup than I was using last time, because you can have autonomous activators in the floor set to aim high, and they will happily work, whoops, on that oak sieve. For example, I'm going to just break this real quick. If I look at this one and I right click on it, this is in the ground. It's currently told to right click on the block above this autonomous activator because it's set to aim high. So I put the oak sieve in there and it gets right clicked into place. If I were to put a bit of sand in there, it starts getting sieved. All 5 of these are set to do that. So I'm going to set up one more right here. And this guy is going to be set to accept items from the right-hand side so that I can set up a Emmie basic export bus again. I'm all out of those. I'll have to go make some more in just a moment. And I'm going to set this to gravel, but I want to set you to redstone high for the moment because I don't want to use everything. I don't want to flood the system quite yet. Actually, what do I need to do? I need to disable you to get some gravel that I can steal. And then sand. So now I'm feeding gravel into this autonomous activator. And it's going to fill up, once again, at that rate of 1 every 5 ticks, or 4 per second. So now all I need to do is I need to get my vacuum hopper set back up, and these guys producing their dusts and such one more time. Because I tore everything down so that I could replace it all with the opaque impulse item ducts, move things around a little bit faster and a little bit more CPU friendly. So once I set this whole system back up again, as you know, you've seen all that on camera once, and I'm going to be doing literally the exact same thing again, I'll be right back. Alrighty folks, we are all configured. As you will remember, we've got the each one of these cyclic assemblers is using a single recipe to make that version of ore on that grade of either gravel, dust, or sand. Oh, these are leftovers from an earlier configuration mistake. I had these set by default instead of only outputting to the back, so they were all outputting to the left. I've got an awful lot of extra ore gravel that I'm going to clean up between episodes. Now, what's going to happen? This is going to feed gravel into here, which is going to break it down, and it's going to create the little bits that are going to get sucked up by this vacuum hopper, which, where do I want you? There we go. Yes, that's beautiful. And I'm going to set that vacuum hopper to output out the top by right-clicking and dragging, and then clicking. Now all I need to do is set you to, whoops, hard to click around these things sometimes. And so that I don't have to clutter the place up any, I'll use another one of these pneumatic servos. Set this guy to redstone ignored, or disabled. So, I'm now going to enable this guy, and we'll start sieving operations. Bits fly up into the vacuum hopper, and if they have a place to go, we'll get outputted out that top up front. Right now, there's nowhere for gems and similar drops to go, so they're all going to gather in there. Items will go into there, will get broken down by the hammer autonomous activator right here, head back into the system until it all gets refined down into dust. When it comes downstairs, gets smelted, and we'll have to output here, which is going to be another Emmie interface. I've got my impulse item deck set to dense mode right there to collect all of the gems and such, and I've got my other item ducts pulling out of the bottom of the casting basins so that I can get all of my ores and such. Now I'm just going to get that right down there, and I'm going to head back upstairs. I'm going to start that extra gold gravel ore that I have sitting in, I believe aluminum. Here we go. Copper, gold. So we'll put this stack of gold gravel ore into here. And we should see things flying through the system. All kinds of crushed gold going in now. Now you may be wondering why I chose to use the item ducts up here instead of the applied energistics system. Well, the reason for that is the applied energistics system is really nice at moving large amounts of items quickly and at moving over long distances efficiently. But for a little small area closed system like this, the item ducts are simply more efficient than the export and import buses. For example, each of these export buses requires a whole bunch of gold and quartz and plastic and such, as well as lots and lots of iron. There's 1, 2, 3, 7, 11 iron per export bus, whereas each of these item ducts, on the other hand, requires basically no iron to create the duct itself, and then only 2 to create the pneumatic servo. So it's just a lot more resource efficient to set everything up with pneumatic servos and item ducts than it is with applied energistics export buses. And there we go. Everything's flowing through. We should be able to come downstairs and see some ores already showing up in here. Oh wow, a lot of FPS lag. This might have come from just leaving everything running for too long. Honestly, I will attempt to solve this in the future by restarting my recording software and Minecraft more frequently. Oops. I fell in the hole. Lag is an issue on this map. You want to be very careful if you're creating your own lag. Yep, a whole bunch of gold dust smelting up. You can see it pouring into this gold tank here, solidifying into gold blocks, popping out, and going into the Emmie system. If I come over here and look up the gold blocks, I have 6. Yep, now we're up to 8. So there we go. Lots of resources coming in, and I'll also be generating more diamond and more emerald. I believe I only had 16 when the episode started. I'm already up 3 more emeralds. So now, the next step along this process, excuse the broken stuttery FPS that will be solved, I'm going to set up a 2 more full sets of these autonomous activators with the sieves to do sand and dust. so that I'm getting all of the resources I possibly can. After that, well, there's one more step I can add to this ore processing chain, but it's not really 100% necessary. We'll find out later on if I decide to take it any further than this. I think that one of my favorite parts of this whole build is being able to sit over here and watch the resources slowly flow in, and knowing that over time, they're not going to be flowing in slowly at all. However, speaking of time, that's all the time that we have today. If you are enjoying the series so far and you would like to help promote the channel, please like the videos, comment on them, and favorite them. It greatly increases my exposure and helps me get more referrals through YouTube's own internal programs. I will see you next time.